very good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us once again on Fashion Watch right here on Citizen TV every Saturday. We talk matters fashion with our resident Fashion Watch panel of Annabelle Onyango, who is a celebrity fashion stylist and who critiques the week's trends both locally and internationally. Also with us every Saturday right here on Fashion Watch is Robert Borale, motivational speaker and image consultant and founder of The Naked Truth. And also with us this evening is Carol Odera in leather. Wow, looking smashing, Carol. She is an award-winning fashion journalist, and she's with us here every Saturday on Fashion Watch. And of course, your celebrity judge, Ian Bugwa, with us every Saturday on Fashion Watch, critiquing your fashion trends, telling us who won and who failed. Let's begin with what's been happening in the week that was. And this week we're looking specifically at the launch of Miss World Kenya, and we want to begin with Julie Gishuru. She's a media personality, and she was at the launch of Miss World Kenya. I think this was held at the Kempinski here in Nairobi. Bob, let's start with you.
Well, I think she looks absolutely fantastic. This is one lady, I think, who knows her body, who knows where she is at in life, and dresses. She's never lost her class, but she changes according to her season and even her age. Yeah. So she looks, I cannot fault this look, to be honest with you. Fantastic.
Annabelle, Julie Gishuru has been a fashionista over the years, celebrated for her fashion style, is the CEO at Nimi. So let's talk about this look. And this is not the length of skirt we see often on this show. It's either too short or too long, but she chose to go with this particular hemline.
Yes, I echo what Bob says. Julie looks actually flawless in this image. I love the tones of it, this very neutral, almost nude tone. That skirt, that full skirt, makes it acceptable for a red carpet event. It's a T-length, so it's this full A-line T-length that really has a lot of drama to it, but I think the color of it really pares it down and gives it that simplicity that we're always looking for. You'll even notice that her lip is nude as well, and a nude lip is very on trend. I love the fact that it's all nude head to toe, including the shoe. I wish she hadn't worn the necklace because I don't think it was necessary, but otherwise I love this. It's so fresh and it's so Julie Gishuru, which is elegant. That's what we love to see her, elegant and clean.
Carol?
Well, I do love this look on Julie. However, I cannot say that it is flawless. I would prefer if she had worn a high-heeled sandal and then maybe probably raise the hem a bit, because when you're wearing a midi skirt and you're petite, it can actually swamp you and make you look shorter. So if you want to look taller, you get it to you get the hem to be a little what higher, and then when you're wearing a midi length, the lower the hem is, the higher the heel should be, so that it elongates you. Other than that, the look is great. You know, I just think it's just a little alteration that would have made it better for me.
Ian, what about you?
I love it. Everything, just the way it is.
Okay, great. So this is a win from the panel. What do you think? Use the hashtag Fashion Watch. And let's proceed. Esther Passari is here at the launch of Miss World Kenya. And so let's talk about her look. And she was photographed elsewhere seated. So this black dress that she has on actually is sheer at the bottom. I think it's a see-through. I think I saw a photo like that. Before we get to the gentleman in the grey and the red bow tie, let's begin with you, Carol, and what do you think about Esther's look?
Well, there are many ways to make a black dress interesting, especially if you're going for a formal event. Because with this look, it's so muted, it almost looked like she didn't put in any effort, which I'm sure she did. You know, she could have added a pop of color, some accessories that were brilliant and bright, and then, you know, just done something more interesting with her hair. And I don't like the posture. I know I'm not a fan of saying that, that's Robert's thing, but it's just, it kind of eliminates some of the beauty of the outfit she's wearing, so I really can't see it as well as she would have probably showcased it.
Bob?
I actually disagree with Carol. I think she looks absolutely fantastic. Why am I saying that? She was going for a Miss Kenya launch, and she knew there would be younger girls trying too many things. So she knows she's of an older age, so she didn't want to come out as if she's competing with the so-called models who come with every different color, short dress, long dress, purple, pink, everything. But what I'm saying, no, when it comes to dressing, you have to, that's why I said, you have to understand the event. And at her age, she doesn't want to compete with this other young girl.
You know, and Annabelle, I want to get your thoughts on this. She's very want to go. As women, that pressure because you're going to an event about who's going to be there and what they're going to be wearing? Does that really count? Isn't it really supposed to be about you and your comfort? But what do you think? I mean, just addressing.
I mean, I think when you go out at night, I think comfort really has to take a back seat. And I think no matter what age you are, whether you're 19 or you're 55 or 75, I think women owe it to themselves to really be glamorous and really bring it. I don't think it's competition if you know, come out with your best foot forward. I think it's just being fabulous. And I think Ms. Pasaris is fabulous, and I wish I had seen this in her outfit. I think the outfit is simple, which is good, and it's age appropriate, which is also good. But like Carol, I think she should have worn a statement, something that doesn't make you disappear in the room. I mean, so many young women look up to Esther Pasaris. I think there has to also be a visual presence. Yeah.
Ian?
Yes, this is too plain for Esther, and I don't like the shoes.
What shoes is she wearing? Oh, okay.
Yes. This is too plain for her.
Okay, so let's talk about the grey and red. Bob, maybe this time we won't annoy Annabelle. What do you think about?
I think he's one of the smartest doctors that I know. This is Dr. Theo Ogata. Yes, most people would have gone for the black and red. So I think this was boldness. He pushed the envelope, and I think he pulled it off.
I'm very curious about the shirt, Annabelle. I don't think I've seen that before. What's going on there?
Actually, it's a tuxedo shirt with pleats in the front, which you would typically wear with a tuxedo jacket. He's switching it up. We talked last week about how you don't have to be a purist about these things, and you can switch things up just to keep it modern. I like his look. The only thing I will say is I wish men, especially men as you know of a particular age, would wear real bow ties that you actually tie up, as opposed to the ones that you just snap on, because I think it's just more refined.
Okay, great.
Maybe we need a show to show how it's tied.
We can do that.
Not many people know how to tie.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah. Okay, yes, and that is
Bob.
a promise. We'll do that.
Good one. We'll do it.
So let's proceed and see who else was there. Okay, still the same event. I want to get your thoughts, Carol, on this look. I think this is Karen, yes, of K24. She's a news anchor, I believe. So this is what she chose to wear to this particular event. Tell us what you think, Carol.
Well, I love this look on her. It's very beautiful, it's elegant, it's clean, it's simple. The only thing I would fault her is hiding that beautiful necklace with her hair. You know, if she could have just pulled her hair back, then that would have made the look a little more refined, because you also want to see the neck piece, because there's a reason why she put it on. Yeah.
And Ian, what do you think?
Beautiful dress, the gold and the black. I like it. I like it.
Bob?
The combination is absolutely fantastic. I do agree with Carol about hiding the beauty of the necklace. But one thing I also give a 10 over 10 is the fact that she went busy on the neck, and you realize her hands are quite bare, meaning there's nothing competing with the other. So she's done it absolutely fantastic.
Even the what she normally wears
is missing, yes.
It's carefully thought out. Yeah.
Annabelle?
Yeah, I mean, I think that umpire waist, which is not at your natural waist, but it's a little lifted just above your bust, is a really flattering silhouette for many body shapes. So yes, this is a job well done.
Okay, great. So a win there for Karen, looking awesome as far as the panel is concerned. And let's proceed. Same event. So switching things up a little bit, she chose to go with a jumpsuit. Okay, Bob, I want to get your thoughts.
Lose the bag, absolutely lose the bag. I just wish she didn't have the blue on the top. It looks like, you know, the way old our ladies of the old used to tie a lasso in a crazy way. If she had, no, I'm just being honest, because she's an absolutely beautiful lady. So what she should have done with her color tone, go full black, which bounces off on her skin. She would have looked better. She doesn't look bad, but she could have done better.
Annabelle, what do you think about this jumpsuit?
I mean, first of all, women have to wear bags, Bob, because they need to put their stuff somewhere.
Bag. I should have said that.
Okay.
A better bag.
Women need bags.
Yes.
There's something about this look. I like the fact that she's chosen a jumpsuit. I think it makes you different from everybody else who's wearing a dress. What I do not like about this look is the fact that she's wearing metallics, and a lot of them. I think when you wear metallic, she's wearing the bust is metallic, the bag is metallic, and the shoes are metallic, meaning they have this sort of shiny quality about them, which I think is a little bit much. I think if you're going to wear something shiny, pick one thing to be shiny and keep everything else neutral. Otherwise, it comes off as a little bit tacky.
Those are Annabelle's thoughts. Carol, what do you think?
I love this look, actually. I love everything about it. Even the clutch, which Robert doesn't seem to like. It's very much a night clutch. I can't see her walking around with something like that during the day. And that bit of fabric, that's supposed to be the thing that makes it interesting and different. Otherwise, it would be just a plain black jumpsuit without any, redeeming qualities. The only thing I'd fault her is her hair, because I have a feeling that that's her day hair as well as night. So if she could just do something more interesting, perhaps, with it, then I would be happy. That's all.
Interesting, like tie it back?
Well, probably put it up or, play around with it. There's so many interesting hairstyles she can do, especially since she's relaxed her hair. Because this look is just it's too lazy. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's too lazy. I see it's because I see a lot of women with relaxed hair don't try so hard to style their hair. That's why I'm saying that. Women with natural hair go through they work really hard to make their hair look beautiful. But most women with relaxed hair don't usually try so hard. They just let it fall. Yeah.
Okay. Ian, I want to get your thoughts on
I like the whole look. I like everything. Maybe now that she's mentioned the hair, I'm trying to see if she'd pulled it back into like a small ponytail or done something, cover one side of her face. Could have been better.
Yeah.
But I like the way it looks.
Okay, what do you think about this jumpsuit? Mixed reactions here from the panel. We want to know what you think. So, gentlemen here again, doing the suit thing like Dr.
Theo Wagata.
Yes. But like Bob's friend. So, Bob, let's get your thoughts on this suit.
What I like about this gentleman is actually a very young man. This is Terry Mungai's son.
Okay.
I think he's 22 or something.
Oh.
And I like the fact that every time I see him, he's cut a serious look. Because when we walk around in Kenya, 22-year-olds are wearing silly sagging jeans. So the fact
I
that...
don't think so, not anymore, really.
Oh, believe me, they do that. Yeah. The fact that he's cut a serious look for his age, and I think I gave him a big up. Yeah. Trouser is not too tight, and he has the right shoes.
Are those jeans or
They're
is that
jeans.
Yeah.
So he's worn actually the right shoes for that kind of fit of trouser.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ian, not your conventional full suit here. He chose to do the skinny jeans and then went all formal at the top. What do you think about this look?
Well, I liked it. I even like it more now that I know how old he is. This is what the young people should be trying to dress as.
Yeah.
Forget about all these jeans and everything.
Carol, what would you do away with? Do you think this is a total win, or does he need a bit of cleaning up?
I think he's done it pretty well, and of course he shows a lot of promise for a 22-year-old who dresses like this. There's definitely a lot of bright fashion stuff in his future. I just find that the pocket square and that little pin, if you could just remove the pin, I'm sure it says a message. I'm sure it means something to him, but that's the only thing, because there's too much in that line of vision to see. Yeah.
And then Annabelle, for the guys who like skinny jeans or perhaps want to copy this look, they're wondering, where do I get such jeans? How do I pull off such a look? Because a lot of guys think that skinny jeans are a bit feminine. What do you think?
I think this gentleman is showing us how you can wear skinny jeans that don't make you look feminine, actually. That is the opposite, makes you look masculine. And the way he's achieved that is by the contrast of having the jeans and the very masculine and formal top. I love the fact that he's wearing a bow tie paired with jeans. That's a really clean and contemporary way to style a formal look. And like Bob says, the formality of the shoe really makes the jean so appropriate. He looks great. He doesn't look 22, but he looks great. He looks 32.
It's true.
Okay, so this is a win again. Clearly, guys really stepped out looking good for this particular event. Who do we have next? Okay, so these are the reigning beauty king and queen. Let's talk. I don't know. I know Annabelle will say this is, and I think we looked at a gown like this very recently, actually. Was it at the Kenya Fashion Awards? I'm not sure. Somebody said that this is a dress off the runway, and therefore it's a little bit hard to critique it. I think it's a dress that looked similar to this one. But Annabelle, let's talk about these two, whether they speak royalty. I don't know, when we talk about representing Kenya, I know he already did his thing at, where was that? And I know the Miss World is yet to represent Kenya at Washington, D.C. in December. So let's talk about what you think about our choice.
I can definitely critique this because there's so much to criticize, unfortunately. I'll start with the Miss Kenya, who I understand in the pageant world you do have to wear a lot of bling and it has to be, you know, very gaudy and ostentatious to catch the judge's attention. But I think there's a way to do that with some finesse and some class that doesn't make it seem like your dress is, you know, cheap. And I think with, you know, the rhinestones on top and the ruffles on the bottom and the sort of shoddy execution of both of them, it just comes off as not beautiful. And I'm sure she's a beautiful girl, it's just in this dress it's not. I mean, all beauty queens know that they're going to end up with a tiara on their head, so you have to style your hair accordingly. And when your hair is kind of in the way of the tiara and you don't know where one starts and where the other ends, it doesn't look good. And as for the gentleman, Mr. World, I mean, when you are at this level of beauty pageantry, you really have to have a tailored outfit. The length of your pants need to fit just perfect, and you need to have a classic white and black look. You don't need to wear pink, it doesn't need to be wrinkly, you just need to be clean. And I think, unfortunately, this falls so short. Speech over.
No, I totally agree. The jacket looks like it's for a fat guy, because you can see the sleeves are too short, and the trousers seem to be for a tall guy.
Yes.
Yes, that is a no-no. It doesn't fit him at all. The shirt, oh, please, terrible, and the bow tie as well. There's nothing. His shoes, that's just about it. His shoes, that's all.
In his defense, this guy is gorgeous.
Yes.
I'm telling you. So maybe it's the angle.
No, it can't be.
At which the photo was taken, I don't know.
What angle makes the sleeves that short? Tell me. And the trousers that long?
Yeah.
Nothing.
I've seen him and I just find it hard to fault him.
Yeah.
What do you think? This duo, and we know he's done his stint, but seriously, against all the world's beauties, 2016 December, Washington DC.
No.
This is what we're going to be putting out there.
For the lady, she should have done better, to be honest with you. The dress catches anybody's attention, but not correctly. I wish she had a better dress. She's an extremely beautiful girl, and I do hope that she does well when she goes to Washington. But that kind of dress will have the wrong comments. For the gentleman,
a local designer.
A good one, a good local designer, not just any designer, but
yes,
an
local
established designer.
Because she's a beautiful lady, and I hope someone does her justice. For the gentleman, as Lillian is saying, I believe it's an off day. I have seen this gentleman so many times, and he always pulls the look. I just wish the trousers were a bit shorter. But with the pink shirt, I have no problem with that at all. In fact, for me,
look at the quality.
Yes, I do understand. And you know, he's 21 years, huh? And so I don't expect him to go and get a tailored suit for 50,000. But what I'm saying is, the pink shirt, aside of the quality, shows a confident person who is willing to be a bit different to push a look.
This is the man who's wearing an almost pink shirt. Continue.
Yeah, but I do agree that I wish the trousers was a bit shorter.
And what's up with that sash? I mean, I wouldn't even call it a sash. It's like a scarf.
Well,
I think
it's because the gentleman, he can't really wear one across his chest.
But besides that, it's beyond him. But I do think the contract stipulates that when he goes for such a function,
I'm just asking, does it have to sort of dominate the entire outfit the way it's dominating it?
Yeah, we need to know is Mr. World and Mr. Africa. He was #4 in the whole world. So let him enjoy his moment.
Well, as we move away from, without adding to anything people have already said, I don't want to reiterate it. But when you're a gentleman, and especially if you're young, you need to figure out where the break of your pants is going to be. Is it going to be a no break, which means that it is just above the shoe, or is it going to be a small break, or is it going to be a medium break? If you have a long one like this, it makes you look middle-aged, and it's a very conservative look. You want to be modern and hip and contemporary, especially if you're competing on an international stage. And if you're young, you have to pay attention to the length of your trousers. I don't know why guys overlook this. It is so critical. And as for the Miss World Kenya dress, I think it takes a lot of thought to get them ready for the pageant, and this looks like it was a last-minute thing. So it's just.
And in her defense, she's #2.
Yeah, I get that, but when you're doing a pageant, you need to think about how the dress will photograph. That is very critical because the images are.
But do they really have a say? Can you actually say no? I don't want to wear this.
I think you can.
I don't think you can.
I mean, I think there should be a panel. There should definitely be stylists, more than one involved.
People who help groom them.
Yes, they should have a glam squad.
Yeah.
In her defense, I think she was just given the crown just the other day. So maybe let's give her time to maybe meet a few people and get...
Yo, December is like a month or two away, so there's no time.
We here can offer our services. Really help her. Really?
Absolutely.
She's representing us.
Yeah, okay, so the panel here says they can offer their services to whomever is concerned. So let's proceed and see. Okay, so this is Lupita Nyong'o, and this is, wow, such a breath of fresh air. This is during the launch of Queen of Katwe, I believe. And she chose to go with this elegant African ensemble. Let's begin with you, Annabelle. What do you think?
First of all, I just want to say that I admire Lupita Nyong'o so much, and she's been blowing up in the media with the Vogue cover and everything, and she is just the queen of everything. I wish, however...
I knew that was coming.
Did you not hear that coming? It was all wrong at the first sentence.
And by the way, Lupita is Annabelle's husband.
Yes, our grandmothers were cousins. So me and Lupita are somehow related. So I wish I could say I love this look 100%, but I don't. This is at the Toronto International Film Festival, promoting an African film that's about a Ugandan story. So I guess the designers were like, let's make her look African. However, this African designer is not an African designer. This look is actually created by Carolina Herrera, who is a Spanish designer, haute couture, who makes very classic, pardon my language, white lady clothes. And here she is making sort of what I would consider to be a very cliche African look that looks like something that would come out of your mother's closet, to be honest. It ages her. I think that gele, is that what it's called? It's, first of all, Nigerian. It has nothing to do with Kenya or Uganda. And it makes her look older than she is. So I feel like this is such a mess. And I'm sorry to say that. Don't attack me on Twitter, please.
Bob is shocked.
I'm going to give you some water.
I mean, please try and be objective on this one.
I'm always objective. This, for me, is the best I have seen her.
Oh, come on.
Honest to God.
No.
That is an absolutely fantastic look. I think what they were trying to do, they understood the function is not in some country in Africa, but they wanted to touch a little bit of classy and Africanness. For me, I think it's good, and maybe many would not like it because there is no slit from here to top.
There's a slit at the back.
Not that big, you know. Most people would want a slit that is from here to town.
Nah.
So I think, absolutely.
Oh,
I think she looks fantastic. She has proved that she can look sexy and wear short things. So she's also proving that if you bring the long stuff, African stuff, I will even look okay.
But again, Annabelle pointed out that there's nothing Ugandan about this outfit. There's nothing Kenyan about this outfit. Carol, what are your thoughts?
Actually, I do agree with Annabelle. I do not like this look on Lupita. I think it ages her. And this makes me think of my, mom when she was in her 40s and the 50s. It's so terrible for her. She's beautiful, she's young, and when she talks about fashion, she talks about how much she loves it. But when I look at this outfit, I don't see that joy. Yeah.
So again, I've always asked about the pressure that Lupita finds herself in. She was this fashion bombshell. She got it right initially. Nobody ever criticized anything she wore. But now we're starting to see goofs. Ian, is that what you're saying?
Well, it all depends on who's dressing her. And I agree with the ladies. She's done a lot better than this. All you have to do is look at that Vogue magazine and look at the way she's dressed. And then look at her now. You can't compare the two. You
and
cannot.
Then again, here at the Vogue magazine, she actually was on the cover of the October 2016 issue of Vogue, will be on the cover. I want to talk about this once again because Lupita is trying to change the narrative, or at least that's what I've seen in a lot of articles, that she's trying to change the narrative. She's gone through a lot of racism in the industry. So just a girl of color making it, scaling the heights that she has, Carol. And then again, this cover of Vogue, not your typical, well, I could be corrected, but not your typical African look per se. So not a lot of people like it, and not a lot of people think that
it represents.
It represents that Africanness. What do you think? Is this overboard? Did they go overboard with this one?
Well, I think they try too hard to be African with this. I mean, I understand why Lupita is on the Vogue cover for the third time. She has international appeal. Everybody knows what her face looks like. Everybody wants to hear her story. She has an amazing backstory. It makes a lot of sense. She's a beautiful woman. She's trendy. She's fashionable. It's just, for me, this is more like, it's like Vogue trying to almost apologize for having an African on the cover by making her look African and then shooting it in Africa. Yeah.
Annabelle?
I have so many mixed feelings about this cover, like everybody does. First of all, I love it so much. I love what it represents. I love the fact that Lupita, who is somehow related to me, is now on the cover of Vogue. I mean, it just shows you that no matter, I mean, just hard work really gets you anywhere, and determination. And she's extremely talented, and she deserves everything that she gets along the way. The only thing I would say, I mean, I think fashion-wise, it's a beautiful cover. I think the textures, I mean, these are very high-end designers, Valentino, Givenchy, Zac Posen, Chanel. This is the best money can buy. But they're not African designers. And if we're promoting an actress who's from Kenya, for a movie that's from Uganda, and she's in Seme, which is in Kisumu, which is where we both come from, I don't understand. Oh. Yes. Yes. She's been dropping hints on a lot of I don't understand that area.
It was not clear.
Yeah. This isn't an amazing Luo designer, an amazing Kikuyu designer, an amazing Ugandan designer, an amazing African designer. Why are they all or Western designers? And I think that's, as beautiful as the clothes are, I think that makes it fail for me.
I think, excuse me, I have a feeling the level she has reached, some decisions are beyond her. And we're saying there's no Luya designer, Kikuyu designer. While she was here, nobody picked her. Now she's there, other people are in control. I do believe sometimes she has to wear outfits that she might not necessarily agree with, but because of the contractual issues which come with finances, so we might be a bit too hard on her. And yet we may not know that it was maybe the least desired dress, but the manager says the contract stipulates that you must put on that.
Yeah. Nobody reached her here in Kenya, that's true, but that's arguable. The thing is, was she accessible? Would her publicists even allow perhaps a Kenyan designer to even get...
No, what I mean, not even that. What I mean is, before she even went to the US, she was doing well with Sugar, and we don't pick these people when they're here at that stage when nothing seems to work for them. Now when they're there and they're all over the place, we all want her back.
But that is true. But then again, there are also a lot of African designers who are based in the US and based in Europe. Yeah. They could still use these designers to dress Lupita. It is still the same concept because it is the African theme.
Yeah.
So then what happens to the African narrative that she's trying to sell here? Exactly. There's nothing African about what she's wearing.
She says, Lupita, I want to create opportunities for people of color. She should have said, I need to be dressed by a person of color in one of the photographs I'm taking. Yes.
And I think we also, I think like Bob said, a lot of this stuff is not, she's just a model on the cover who's used to sell copies of a magazine. A lot of these are editorial decisions that are based by the editor, Anna Wintour, and I think like Bob says, there's only so much she can take it. I mean, she took them to her village. Her family's featured in the editorial. That's already incredible. She's talented and representing us. That's already incredible. So it's just a shame that she has limits to what she can do.
Okay. Yeah. And then again, just before we move away from this, Carol, you're a journalist, you're a fashion journalist. So this cover for you, is it screaming, wow, I need to buy this? Does it look too local? I don't know.
well, rarely does a Vogue cover ever really tell me I need to go buy this. It just tells me that there is an abstract idea that I need to follow through when I open the magazine pages. It doesn't really sell me anything in particular. It gives me a concept. Yeah.
All right, and let's proceed. There's a model that's actually been making headlines, and this is Kenyan German-based model Nicole Atieno. And she is based in Germany. She moved to Germany 5 years ago with her mother, who's a former model, and she did her first test shoot during her birthday at the age of 15. She's now actually modeling for the likes of Gucci and what have you. And this is, again, from the Lakeside. Carol and Annabelle.
Are you related? Possibly. I just have to do my research.
There are 3 cousins twice removed.
Carol,
yes.
With you.
What are we looking at?
well, we're looking at Nicole, and basically perhaps exploring opportunities for Kenyan models out there. We just came from talking about Miss World Kenya 2016, and we just want to talk about, you know, Kenyan models and opportunities out there for them. She is based in Germany, I believe, but what about our models here, the ones that transition, say, from our pageants or from our beauty schools and what have you? Is there hope for them as well out there?
At this point in time, I would say that the future doesn't look very bright. It takes a lot of work to be a model. Most people think you just roll out of bed because you're pretty. But that's not what it takes. You have to work hard. You have to understand what does modeling require. Who are your role models, literally and figuratively? How do you make money? How do you use social media? A lot of models are discovered through Instagram these days. Do you know how to maximize your presence? Because being a model it's not enough to be young and attractive. You have to work at it. And I see that there's a lot of reluctance to do that in the industry so far. You have to be willing to push yourself further than just doing the runway. And then we don't have so many fashion magazines that portray the editorial concept and how a model is brought to light. So that also limits the exposure that a model can have.
So just talking about pageants, Ian, for us here, when we look at you know, modeling, we look at the pageants and we look at, you know, perhaps designers that are that want models to endorse their brands, but when we look at the bigger picture, say a Kenyan girl like her who has scaled the heights that she has, what about a model here in this country who perhaps has what it takes but doesn't even know where to begin?
It's the opportunities. She's in Germany and she's black among a lot of white, so she will definitely stand up, stand out. And I'd like to know her story of how she probably did photographs. She must have been seen. Her photographs must have been seen somewhere, maybe social media.
Actually, her mother was a model.
Okay,
yeah,
then she's way ahead of everybody else. The ones here don't really know what to do, because what they end up doing is joining a modeling agency who will just take them because they want to make money, and then charge them to build a portfolio for them, and then tell them to go home and wait for that call.
Which never comes.
Which never comes. And very many of them have been duped like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Bob, you do a lot of these things. What's the industry like in terms of modeling scouts, scouting for models rather, and the opportunities out there? I mean, are there opportunities on the international runway for Kenyan models?
I do believe there are opportunities, but it's how you take them. Until many Kenyan models stop thinking that posting a photo on Instagram sucking a lollipop with short dresses will make you a model. Being a successful model must start on the inside, meaning then, because if you think about it, and I'm going to say this without batting an eyelid, is the fact that we get very many, we call them sponsors, going to look for these models to like trophies. But and most of the models fall for that kind of thing. But if they are taught to believe in themselves from the inside, they will not be duped by 20,000 shillings to buy Brazilian weave so that you look like a model. It's belief. Like an 18-year-old girl, this girl must have been imparted with self-belief from a very young age, and that's why at this age she's okay. But some 26-year-old models, 27-year-old models are going when Italians come to the coast to try and position themselves.
First of all, at 27 as a model, you're old. Annabelle, what do you think? Nicole Atieno making headlines, Germany and of course across the international catwalks. What do you think?
I think what we're seeing here is actually really incredible. It's really inspiring me today, Lupita, and then this, what's her name?
Nicole.
Nicole Atieno. I mean, these little girls are just so... there we go. I just love to see, first of all, Harper's Bazaar is a very fashion magazine. It's more fashion than Vogue, actually, because Harper's Bazaar is what the fashion people buy to informed about what's happening in the fashion industry. So to see a black face amongst these models, and not just a black face, but a Kenyan face, is so refreshing and so a step in the right direction, I think. I would love to see this every day. Unfortunately, this is a fluke. And I will say that Kenyan models they're beautiful, they're talented. Unfortunately, the systems that they work in, the agencies who are, you know, crooked and aren't professional, don't advance these ladies to reach these heights. But it's possible. Just work at it, man, and then take yourself to Paris somehow, London, Sydney, and if you're talented, you will make it.
Yeah, but following the footsteps of Alec Weck, Iman, you know, they started academies where they scout for models back home. You know, Alec Work has taken a lot of Sudanese models to New York, and so has Iman. And therefore, it would be good to see some of these girls give back and scout for talent back here at home. Let's take your tweets and see what you're all saying. Tonight, the hashtag is Fashion Watch. Florence, you're saying Julie looks so glamorous and ageless. Esther's dress was a bit revealing, so a no for me.
Which part was revealing?
I've always loved Esther Passari's dressing. She always kills it, but I don't know what happened that night. Average. That's Anthony. You're saying having an Abdul will hide her hair length. Karen looking awesome. Molly, you're saying, please remember that the West thinks Africa is a country, so let's assume Nigeria.
Nice one, Molly.
Kenya is a county.
Regina, I think Lupita was too matchy-matchy in the yellow and blue number. I don't like it at all.
Sorry, Bob.
True. You're on your own. You're on your own. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next week. Good night.
Hey, the West thinks that.
You know.